remember, as we are making characters, we are going to be adding to them a gothic trinket from Curse of Strahd to make things a little bit more creepier, maybe to be a spell focus or something that the story can draw upon over the course of the campaign. We are also going to give them some kind of a madness that may end up being triggered a couple times throughout the campaign. Not often, I mean, especially because some of them can be severe, but enough that if they get too stressed and meet a certain condition, it will affect them because they're so shocked to their core. So we want to have a mechanical effect of shock and horror, not just the storytelling like le gasp. Okay, now I'm gonna roll dice. I showed I was terrified, so now let's do this other stuff. King is also wanted for forgery of the Wolf Kingdom. Oh, that is correct. He tried showing Dark Wolf the permit that he had. By the way, Thai food and fortune cookies. I think that was in our new role playing here. Yes, as you'll see, I have my paperwork in order, specifically how your kind likes it. So that was King's hunting permit, and Dark Wolf was able to scrutinize it well enough to call it out as a forgery. So by the way, if you like role playing, you can role play and have fun with each other in here too. You are certainly welcome to do so. All right, so here's our chart that we use in order to randomize a character, but yet make them more than just a set of numbers. We want to make them a living, breathing person. We want to give them a background, even more than just the book does. We want them to come to life. Why did they make the decisions that they did? Why did they take the skills they did? Not just because it's optimal for a party, but because it makes sense to who they are. As well, it's not form fillable. But while we're using this alternate form fillable sheet, right? If any of you are new here, hey, our commander, it's good to see you. If any of you are new here, or if you're used to regular D&D players' PC sheets, this one will look a little different. I think it's very well constructed, and so we've been using it for those purposes. The same, in fact, I'll put a link if you want to download these. On that site, they also have an inky version, which if you want to stick to horror themes, look, it has tentacles, so maybe like a great old one, or something along those lines, slithering and evil. If you can see it, hopefully it shows through. You can see how there's some very faint script in the background, like maybe some sort of like arcane ritual or rite or something. If we look at the death saving throws, we have passes and fails, and the fails is a dead tree with gravestones, and we come down here to the backgrounds. There's kind of like a haunted house, or maybe some sort of like a depressed gothic city in the background here. And when we come over to the spells, of course, this is always fun. The the little 5e and the wizard hat that the octopus is wearing. But you get maybe more arcane looking areas here for your spells, and for your companions, a bunch of birds flying over some dead trees, death save, etc. So it's a lot more thematic. It's not form fillable, but it's something you can print off and enjoy. As much as you can in a horror campaign, which honestly you should have fun in a horror campaign still too. Talking Vile Plume, hello. It does seem that I can understand you. I must have that gift, because Vile Plume, you and I are able to communicate. And welcome to our channel, Talking. We are getting ready to make a character for a horror themed campaign, and we will be doing so by subjecting ourselves to the forces of chaos and randomness. We will consider all options as they roll, and we will then together, you're welcome to participate, whether you are a first timer to D&D or whether you're an old pro on either side of the DM screen. We will together make this character whole. We'll give him or her a background more than the mechanical one, and go from there. Yep, hey, no problem, Jade. Thank you very much. Jade streams video games. If you know Journeyman, she is also friends with Journeyman. who raids us on occasion, and he's doing a lot of really good art, D&D themed art. And she also runs a tabletop game program at a library, from what I was learning earlier. So thank you for what you do in your community, Jade, and for being an unrepentant nerd. Romonger, good afternoon. That is true. Romonger is over in Japan, working on a water pump in Fukushima. Romonger, have you developed any superpowers yet? Do you have any, hey, Bubonic. Romonger, do you have any mutant powers by chance? Or are you just enjoying all of the cherry trees blossoming and eating food that's making all of us jealous? Because I'm a jealous fatty. I'm a big dude, right? Oh, I love sushi, fresh seafood. Oh, and miso soup for breakfast. Molto bene. See ya, Jade. You have developed a super headache. That doesn't seem like a power, Romonger. Unless you're a Psyduck now, right? If we have a talking Vileplume, maybe Romonger is slowly becoming a Psyduck, and you'll get telepathy or something from that. Have you been ghoulified? Talking about Vileplume, I've been trying to get into D&D. Right now, I want to make a solo Pokemon tabletop RPG inspired by Pokemon Tabletop United, but I figured I'd watch this process so I can sort of make my own rules. You are welcome to do so. As much as you want to participate or ask questions, or if you just want to sit back and lurk Vileplume, you're welcome to do so. This channel, what we do here, we tell stories. It's educational. If you have questions on mechanics or how things work or what does something mean, while I'm presenting, ask them. Because I'll stop, I'll address it, and even if I can't answer your question, there will be people right over here who can help clarify or even give you different answers or different ways to approach the same conclusion that you want to reach. This is very participatory, Vileplume, and plus, hey, I think there's a lot of us, me included, who really like Pokemon, so maybe we're able to help translate high fantasy, Western fantasy D&D into a Pokemon style concept that you want to present to your players. Your voice has been more raspy lately. D&D is amazing. Do you have to take Romonger? Do they do some sort of tests, like saliva, blood, or urine test or something to make sure that you guys are staying healthy? Or do you have to take I mean, we can make Fallout jokes. Do you take something like Rad-X that can help suppress any any latent radiation that's getting through your hazmat suit? You don't really like miso soup for breakfast, is Bubonic. We don't have a barbarian, Bubonic. I mean, we may tonight. It's still a possibility. You do take Rad-X, okay. I presume that your levels and stuff have been, I don't know, have they been going up? Or are they stable? Are you getting headaches just because it's you're working a lot of hours? I mean, obviously, I want you staying healthy. We're joking about mutant powers and stuff, but let's set that aside because look, we're all dorks. We think of X-Men and all this other stuff, but I want you safe and healthy, brother. Headaches from stress. Okay. By the way, I see you use the same dice program as me, but yeah, the game that inspired me uses the Pokemon theme, but they use the classic party system, which is to be expected. But I want to make a solo system since Pokemon started that way. Well, we'll help you as much as we can. Now by solo, Vileplume, are you saying that there's a DM and one player, and you just want it to be like a heads-up D&D game, or what is your specific goal? And while you're addressing that, I'm going to start work over here. Again, go to town, talk about your dreams and ideas, and ask questions, okay? All they tell us is our rads are in the okay zone. Okay. Well, get that survival book from Moira, and you'll be fine. All right, let's roll a percentile die. And by the way, Vileplume, I'm sorry, I keep delaying myself. How I'm creating characters here isn't necessarily how you can create characters in D&D. Oftentimes, if you're the player, you already know I want to play a female dwarven wizard with a specialty and go from there. And you can cut out a lot of these steps. But since we're making conceptual ideas where we want to tell a story and we're doing a thinking exercise of shotgunning a bunch of random variables against our character sheet and weaving, how do we thread the needle, so to speak. It'll be a more roundabout storytelling process. One player win DM or something more like solitaire. Oh yeah, Civil. Civil can hook you up with some knowledge too. All right, so we're going to roll a percentile, see if we have a female, male, or a multi-class character tonight. 86, that is a male character. Almost in the multi-class territory. So we have a male, and we have a male what, right? We don't even really have a silhouette. It could be a lot of different things. Let's roll a d10 and find out the race of our character. And we're going to re-roll a 10 since there's only 9 core rulebook races. 1. Huh. Well, all right, so we have a dwarf. What kind of a dwarf do we have? Odds or evens on another roll? Evens. We have a hill dwarf. A male hill dwarf. They are technically medium-sized, but we'll just fill it in while we're here. The alignment, we're going to roll 2D percentiles, right? Because you have lawful, neutral, chaotic, good, neutral, evil. And we're going to find out on these axes, as they kind of etch-a-sketch around in the 9 positions where we're going to land. 2948. So it looks like we're going to be neutral good. There we go. All right. No alignment special rules. We're not evil. Let's find out what level he's going to be with a percentile roll. We have an 81, and that is just on the verge of level 13. There we go. Now, that means he's going to get 3 ability score increases, or ASIs, or you could just call them stat bumps if you want, at 4, 8, and 12. We're going to randomly determine if any of these are going to be turned into feats instead. Percentile die. 50. Nope, we're going to go pure us. It's all in our abilities. Now, because we're making a horror-themed campaign, I've opened up that we're going to include as an option 14 here, which is the Haunted one, which is a character background from Curse of Strahd. And so, I'm so used to putting 13. Here's a 14. If it lands on 14, we get it. Now, if this character, being 4 of 5, does not get Haunted one, our character that we're going to make tomorrow will for sure get that as a background. Let's see what we get. 4. Okay. Well, I feel bad for... No, it's a good background. It's fun. Entertainer. Entertainers get D3 talents, you could say. So let's roll a 3-sided die and figure out how many. 2. And there are 10 different things entertainers can do. Let's roll twice. Let's make this 2d10. 8 and 1. Boom. These are placeholders. Right now, what are they? We don't need to worry about it. These are placeholders, and we're going to weave everything together. Well, I'm on for your whole stream today. Only worked 8 hours today. No, it's not a tiefling row. Yeah, we got a hill dwarf. There's an old board game called Dragon Strike that had rules for playing with one person. Oh, I remember Dragon Strike, Sybil. Art Commander, hey, do what you got to do, Art Commander. It's good to have you in here. Come back when you can. Talking Vileplume says, the goal for people to have an RPG that wants the solo player to create their own game. Basically, the player is the DM/GM as well as the player. It's designed for people to pass the time in RPG form. The game isn't designed for campaigns unless you want it to, but it's more meant to be played in short spurts. Short stories, 1 or 2 sessions per story. Well, if we can help you craft this idea, Vileplume, it's certainly possible. If you look at, talking Vileplume, do this. Take a look at these titles. Look at those two rule sets. They're one-page rules. And that might help you to craft some kind of a simple system for that. If you hop on our Discord, you can also find copies of those rules on our Discord. Ivlis, what is that thing growing out of your head? This is a Gear VR headset. You know, since I have unfortunately my shirt cannot be found. I figured I'd go for an internet theme. Although I don't know why this isn't. I'm getting shadows, and I ought not to. I think I still need to get a second light. Oh well. Would you read a book, roll a die, turn to the page with the result? Oh, yeah, the create your own adventure or the choose your own adventure. Tactical waifu, it can be if you want to, but it doesn't. On its surface, it is safe for work. You can open up the rules, and besides it saying tactical waifu, and people are wondering, why is there a military rifle and a bunch of pink on the page? It's safe for work. There's also a website like it, but I forget what it was called. Oh, probably so. All right, so we have our entertainer with his 2 talents. Now, let's find out which class he will be with. Dun, 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 dun. I was just talking about a dwarven wizard. Wouldn't this be something if we roll this and we get a 12 and we make a dwarven wizard? Endless quest. Okay. Close. 10. 10 is a sorcerer. Ooh, we have a very magic-heavy party, right? We have a warlock, we have a wizard, and we have a druid, and now we're making a sorcerer. There are 2 kinds of sorcerer. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go over here. Sorcerer, Draconic Bloodline, and Wild Magic. Let's go odds or evens on the D12. Odds. Draconic Bloodline it is. Oh my gosh, if we give this character high constitution, he is going to have hit points for days. This is going to be a beefy, spicy sorcerer. A tanky sorcerer. If only as a face tank, right? An HP tank. Okay, now we have these options. We can go down to page 2 and generate some physical characteristics and also placeholders for his personality. Let's do this first. We can roll 2d8 for personality traits. 1 and 5. Again, we're not worrying at all what this means. They're just holding these slots. 3, 3, 5. Now, for hill dwarves, their base height starts at 3'8", and we're going to add 2d4 inches. 6 inches. So 3 feet, 14 inches. We're going to take this same modifier of 6 and multiply it by 2d6 over here, and then add that to the base weight of 115 pounds. 4. So we're adding 24 pounds, 139 pounds. He gets up, he rolls out of bed, stretches in front of the mirror, and this is what he weighs. Next, let's determine where he falls on the age spread. Roll a percentile. 65. This is going to make him a middle-aged dwarf. So that's column 4, right? Then for dwarves, we come over here and see where they intersect. He's going to be between 151 and 225 years old. That's going to be a 25-sided die. 15. Okay. So he's 165. There we go. Nice. Good progress. Ivlon says, funny story, my sorcerer in Curse of Strahd is a divine soul. I normally don't go out of core books, but I couldn't resist because of the way souls work in Barovia. How does divine soul operate, Ivlon? I'm not familiar with that. And Vileplume, Ivlon is also good for advice and suggestions. So hopefully, if you're checking things out, you are able to you're able to take notes also on what Ivlon is saying. Access to cleric spells. Okay. Oh yeah, and there's special things that happen in Barovia when you die. that is very I guess that's very appropriate. Okay, so we have our placeholder stuff. We can now get rid of our random number generator, our RNG, and we're going to start with a background. We start with a background because that is what your character did growing up. It's his livelihood. It's before he was an adventurer. What did he do as he was manifesting his powers in a way that Rowmonger will hopefully grow into as well. You know, with these draconic powers as a sorcerer. What did he do for a living? You know, did he cut people's lawns as a kid? Did he, was he a merchant or an artisan? Well, in this case, he was an entertainer, which can work out really well because, hey, when you're a sorcerer, you cast off of your winning smile. Talking Vileplume says, I think the lasers and feeling system is really good for something like this. The dice system to it is pretty nice and simple, which is sort of what I was going for. However, I will make some tweaks, but thanks, Ivlon, for the tips. I'm glad we're able to... If we can even set you on a road down which you can journey, Vileplume, it's a success. And as you're learning and adapting, you'll come up with something. Believe in yourself, and if you need checks on stuff, ideas, come to us. I mean, I'm pointing to myself, but us. Boop, boop, boop. So I can pick from the cleric spell list when I level up to replace my sorcerer spells. That's interesting. You got bit by a radioactive dragon during one of his shows. Yeah. If we want to talk about developing mutant powers. You know, or maybe, I don't know, maybe someone had a little fairy dragon was loose and kind of came up and gave him a bite. Nom, 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 nom. All right, our backgrounds are listed alphabetically. So criminal, entertainer, here we go. 8 and 1. What is he good at? He's good at singing and acting. Ooh, singing and acting. Are you starting to get more of a feeling for our character now as we take things step by step? His background feature is by popular demand, and he can find places to perform, earn money, maybe some room and board. If any of you need me to stop, because I'm only putting in the placeholder name. If you need me to explain what something is in more depth, let me know, and I'll stop and do so. His personality traits, well, that's on page 2. Let's take care of this stuff up here first, so I don't get ahead of myself. Acrobatics and performance, very good. If he's a singer and a dwarf, he's got to be a baritone. I'm scared of every spider I come across on sight, says Ro. Yeah, noms. We actually have it's not a hospital, but a lot of local area doctors got together to make their own, like, mega building practice, and it is called, although they call it NOMS, N-O-M-S, for Northern Ohio Medical Specialists. So every time, you know, if I'm heading out that way, I'm like, noms. Gnomes. Noms and gnomes. Gnomes are gonna noms. Also, in our store, I think we still have it after the move, but to help support a lot of local restaurants and businesses, we keep a menu binder, so that if you're going to be playing Magic for 6 hours and you want to order a pizza or something, or you want to go to the local Thai food place, you can consult their menu. And so we call that the Book of Many Noms, and it was alternatively referenced as the Many-Nomicon. Yeah, gnomes. I'm glad you like that idea, Ivlon. So yeah, people would come up to the counter and be like, hey, can I get the Book of Many Noms? Or, can I get the Many-Nomicon? Well, Evelyn, it's a community. We're looking out for each other, and also as a business ecosystem too. What else do we get mechanically? Tool proficiencies with a These Guys kit. And an instrument. And I'm going to put question marks because what does he play? I don't know. Let's develop his personality more and see if is he a percussion guy? As Ivlon said, he's a baritone. Maybe he sings as a baritone, but he really likes, higher pitched instruments. Maybe he plays a kazoo or a ukulele. A glockenspiel. That's fun to say. Not too portable, though. So for equipment, we're going to go down to our backpack here. We will get an instrument. Question mark, question mark, question mark. We are going to get... an admiration token of some kind. Now, maybe that token is the Gothic Trinket. Maybe the Gothic Trinket is just something he has on the side. Maybe it's an arcane focus. But we'll put an admiration token and put question marks after to see what we want to do with that. He has a costume, and we'll want to decide what his costume is. Is he a sad opera clown because he can sing and act? Is he something else? He can be what we want him to be. And a belt pouch with 15 gold in it. Derek, hey, hard at work. Yep. Are you whipping up a sample dungeon for tomorrow also, Derek? Or do you need me to do that? You appreciate the things friendly local game stores do. Wish I could visit your store. Well, hey, a harmonica dwarf seems good, Ivlon says. If you ever pass through Sandusky, Ohio, you can stop by and say hi, even if you're just here to go to Cedar Point. Yep, Derek, by the way, we have Rowmonger for a lot of the broadcast here, and he has sadly not gained any mutant powers yet. Civil Hermit, I would expect a hand-used instrument for a singer, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that makes sense. We said ukulele. He plays an empty jug, so, that... Hoo, 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 hoo. Starting a jug band. Someone's going to get the wash tub bass. Someone's going to play the laundry scrubber, the washboard. Someone's kind of ham boning on their leg, and someone's playing spoons. Got to go back to lurking. Got a lot of writing to do. I thought it was Saturday. Wasn't that what it said? The dungeon is going to be the second half of Friday, and the campaign, going over the campaign, is the second half of Saturday. Yes, you can say Ohio, especially if it's in the morning. Rowmonger banjo, singing some dwarven country, some country songs. Also, come on a Wednesday for D&D. Hey, yeah, that's true. Abby Marie, thank you very much for the follow. I'm glad that we're entertaining you and hopefully educating you along the way. If you need any for D&D, you are welcome to ask questions and participate as much as you want in chat. Alir could be interesting. It can't be here Friday, but Saturday I can do. Okay, then what we'll do, Derek, is I will move to accommodate that, and thank you for letting me know. I will make the party formation sheet second half of Friday, since we'll have all 5 of our characters. Saturday, we can do a dungeon, and we can do the campaign overview. Will that work for you? A hillbilly dwarf. Yeah, by the way, Derek, I'm not sure when you came in here. We have a male hill dwarf, sorcerer with Draconic Bloodline, and he is a singer and actor. All right, now let's get to his personality traits. You love D&D, you've been playing for 21 years. Whoa, that is awesome. Like playing and running, or are you primarily a player? Are you primarily a DM? And heck, probably a lot of what we're doing here, it might be a different take on it, which is hopefully refreshing. But You are welcome to share your stories and experiences with us in the channel, Abby. Wow, someone whose beard is as long as mine, if not longer. Yeah, Derek. And oh, don't forget Bubonic one. Bubonic has a gray beard, not even just a long beard. Right? Is that how we're kind of doing D&D martial arts? Is we have different, like, beard descriptions almost? Abby's beard is maximum. All right, what are his personality traits? 1, I know a story relevant to almost every situation. Well, he has been around for a while. He's a middle-aged dwarf. And 5, I love a good insult, even one directed at me. So he can give it and he can take it. You know, for a dwarf, he's very down to earth. All right. You're primarily player, but you have DM twice. Yep, no problem, Derek. I'll ping you on Discord. That's fine, Evelyn. I deserve that. I also like the phrase, make it short and sweet like a honey-dipped dwarf. Though because you have HD, you can say honey-dipped dwarf, or even a honey-dipped hobbit, or a halfling if you prefer. So if you're in a gaming group that would understand it, would understand one or the other, you can use that as a pun. But Abby, if you want to share any stories, or heck, if we're doing something creative or something that's, I don't know, weird to you, and you're like, what is that? This is a participatory channel. I'm not just here to lecture. I'm here to converse with you all. Well, a honey-dipped hobo. No, it's supposed to be a hobo on a ham sandwich. I'd be on that like a hobo on a ham sandwich. Though another one that works is, I'm stumped worse than a legless dwarf. Thus he became an adventurer. I'd say about 60% of content here is weird. That's good. You're welcome. Thank you? Why do I have interrogation marks after each of my sentences and my voice rises at the end? All right, our ideals. Number 3. Creativity. Zawarudo is in need of new ideas and bold action. Yes. Bold action. Oh, the voice thing, that's just Valley Girl. Bonds number 3. I want to be famous. Ooh, whatever it takes. That would be a good one for our horror theme. And maybe there's a devil's deal somewhere along the lines. Flaws number 5. I have trouble keeping my true feelings hidden. My sharp tongue lands me in trouble. So he does love a good insult, and he'll give them and take them. If nothing else, maybe to stir the pot a little bit, right? Some creativity. As the Joker in the Tim Burton Batman 1 movie said, this town needs an enema. Now, if we don't like his concept as an entertainer, he can still be a singer and an actor, but we can make him a gladiator. In that case, he is more like, think like a professional wrestler, or think of some gladiators of old who would put on spectacle through fighting. We can do either way. Not too much changes. If we do take this, much as entertainers, any minstrel or circus performer trained to make the arts of combat into a spectacle the crowd can enjoy. This kind of flashy combat is your entertainer routine, though you might also have some skills as a tumbler or actor. By using your by popular demand feature, you can find a place to perform. Okay, any place with an arena. You can replace the musical instrument in your equipment package with an inexpensive but unusual weapon, such as a trident or a net. So, he could be an entertainer, he could be a gladiator. Which sounds better? I don't know. Let's keep building them and find out. Well, I love the idea of a dwarf luchador. I'd stick with the entertainer. That would be very right. That's his costume. He puts on the sequin mask, and he has the sequin demi cape, and like this whole get up, and he just like rah. All right, Sorcerer of Draconic Bloodline. That's a hill dwarf. Constitution bonus aside, that is an extra 2 hit points every level. Simply by virtue of being level 13, he's getting 26 extra hit points. So I'd be careful by putting the concept of Dwarf Luchador out there. A lot of people might be saying, that maybe is a good idea. Valiant Dwarf Luchador sounds awesome. What did I just tell you? What did I tell you? I see a Dwarf Tobias from Arrested Development. Dwarf Tobias. All right, let's go up now that we finished our background and go into races. Dwarf. Dum-ba-da-dum-bum-bum. Here we go. All dwarves get a constitution bonus of 2, regardless. They are hale and hardy. We are medium speed, 25 feet on a run. And with this setup, right, you half. So 12 climb, 12 swim, and 0 fly, unless we do something kind of interesting. We do get dark vision, so let's fill in this little third eye up here. We get dark vision of 60 feet. We will get dwarven resilience. You have advantage on saving throws versus poison. So up here, see where it says advantages? Poisson. In French, pain and poison are are bread and fish. 2 staples of life. And here we go. You see IRV up here? Bink. Whoop. Immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities. Just fill in the little radio button. Bink. Now we are, without having to write in a ton of stuff, we are resistant to poison. It is short and sweet, like a honey-dipped dwarf. And we are also getting dwarven combat training. We have proficiency with this could come in handy for being a sorcerer, by the way. Battle and hand axe and throwing and warhammer. There we go. We will also get a tool proficiency with artisan tools of our choice. Now, do we have to stick to brewer supplies, mason's tools, or smith's tools? That is stereotypically what dwarves are known to do. We don't necessarily have to if we don't wish to. This could then be artisan tools? Question mark, question mark, question mark. We can leave that open. We also receive stone cunning and languages, common and dwarven. Dark Wolf, it's a storm. Is it storming out? I don't know. Maybe is it hitting you all first? I guess then. Or no, that wouldn't make sense. You're east of us, Dark Wolf. I don't know. I don't hear any. I don't hear any pitter patter. Actually, although you did remind me, we need some spooky music of some kind playing in the background. There we go. So maybe it's rolling in, Dark Wolf. Are you all by the lake also? As a hill dwarf, we have keen senses, deep intuition, and a remarkable resilience. Our wisdom score pops up by 1. And our dwarven toughness, our hit point maximum, increases by 1 and increases by 1 every time you gain a level. Okay. Well, then I appreciate your forewarning. You're using your druidic powers to to predict that. Okay, that is what we get for being a Darf. Darf, Darf, Darf. Sorcerer. We are level 13, so we're concerned with what is in the blue box right here. Our hit die are going to be 6s. And, oh, I'm sorry, 6. And we're level 13, so we're going to get 13 of them. We've used 0, right? This is a concept character. We're not multi-class, so as you can see, they conveniently provided space over here, so we can 0 them in, or if you prefer, you can X them out. It's form fillable, whatever you want to do. We get no armor proficiencies, and we can continue our weapon proficiencies. Dagger, dart, sling, quarterstaff, light crossbow. There we go. Saving throws, Constitution, and Charisma. So you can see here these diamonds. Those are showing those are the saving throws based on the ability scores that we have, our 6 ability scores, with the skills associated with that ability score listed in alphabetical order underneath it. Now we're going to get to choose 2 skills, and I will open this up. He could play, hey, Fiendish Acorn, he could play cowbell. Very good percussion, good rhythm. I want you all to think about it. Which 2 skills based on his personality that we've developed so far? His alignment, his personality, the things we've talked about. He can get Arcana, Deception. Hey, Hakora, thank you very much for the host. I appreciate it. We're right in the middle of creating a Dwarven Sorcerer. Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, and Religion. So we need to think of 2. And let's, again, this character has lived. Does he know the other party members? He might. Though he's lived on his own, he's performing on his own. He's good in these skills because of who he is and what he does. So let's not think in the meta sense of what skills do these other characters have that we need to fill in. Let's think of him as an individual character, right? He has a story relevant to almost every situation. He loves a good insult, even one directed at him. The world is in need of new ideas. See, I even put in the R here just to emphasize it. And bold action. I want to be famous, whatever it takes. And I have trouble keeping my true feelings hidden. My sharp tongue lands me in trouble. Yes, there is indeed, Art Commander. There is an awoo in the background. I'm almost thinking if he's an entertainer, right? He's a face. Maybe something like if it's at any cost. Could you make the argument for deception? Deception doesn't mean you're a bad guy. You can take deception, and you could be a criminal background paladin, right? Deception doesn't have to be straight up lying for evil purposes. Intimidation also doesn't have to be bad. But maybe he's willing to intimidate. Maybe he's willing to deceive. Persuasion might be a strong skill for him to have. I love that emote, Hakora. Yep, there's an awoo. Hakora, we got some spoopy music playing. We're making another character that we're gonna throw into the horror campaign. So if you have any questions, then let me know. So, audience out there in D&D land, Fiendish Acorn, Abby Marie, you are a longtime player. As we're discussing this character, are you able to kind of envision him? Do you have any input, Acorn or Abby, or Hakora? Because I know that you're newer to structured storytelling. Of Arcana, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, and Religion, what would really jive with an entertainer? A singer? An actor, or I'm sorry, yeah. That's what it was, right? Sorry, I'm gonna scroll. It might flash. A singer and an actor. Then again, if he's not an entertainer, if we want him to be a gladiator, right? We're talking about a dwarven luchador, quote unquote here. You'll be listening to the melodic tone of your voice while I smash Photoshop. Okay, no problem. I'm glad that you think it's melodic. I'll have to work on a baritone voice because Ivalon thinks that this dwarf would have a good baritone voice. Stomping around, you know, dwarf, 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 dwarf. It's a bad Photoshop technology day. Oh, do you have some gremlins in your computer, Hakora? Whatever it takes to be famous, that could probably be, you know, a story relevant to almost every situation. I'm thinking deception and persuasion. So he can convince people either way, and if he knows it, he can know a story, and he can know a story also. And so even if it's to play up something that happened before, you know, not that he's necessarily a flim-flam man, but he might use deception to accent a story. Or if he knows that someone's really receptive to an idea, he can modify something else in order to fulfill that desire or expectation. Dorgrim thinks insight to read the crowd. Oh, that could be. So if we do that, Dorgrim, if we what would you want to replace? Deception, persuasion, and because insight could very well work too, right? If you want to know your audience and know how to play up to them. I don't know about you, but I would make him a gladiator because intimidation. I use it a lot. That's just my personal opinion. No problem. Now he's not. So he's not proficient. Now, it doesn't mean that he can't still try to use it, by the way. Just because you don't have a radio button filled in on a page doesn't mean you can't still play up to it. Though for intimidation, so he's not proficient in it, he can still do it. And he's going to be a face either way, right? We have a sorcerer. They're very charismatic. And it would still be a charisma skill. But I'm sorry, you could take intimidation. So if if he wants to play as you know, if we're taking, I'm sorry, yeah, if we're talking as like a luchador wrestler, he can intimidate, right? He can play the heel, or he can play the face, or something along those lines. Yeah, I'm sorry, I think that just clicked. So yeah, if you want, we can replace even deception and persuasion. If we wanted to split it and go between Arc Commander and Dorgrim, and let's give him intimidation and insight. We could do that. So, all right. Unless you all have arguments otherwise, I'm going to default to our wonderful comments over here. Because look, I was filling something in because I was I was waiting for you all to throw your 2 copper into the arena of ideas here, and I think those make perfect sense. So you don't need to qualify or undermine your opinion, Ark. Alrighty, excellent. Let's go back to Sork. Right, here's all the goodies we get. We get a lot of stuff to play with. Those are skills. This is almost going to finish what we need on this page. Because of how this front page of this modified character sheet works, we can take this information and we can list it down here, right? Here's our spell slots and everything. So we have a +5 proficiency bonus. Boom. We have 13 sorcery points. And we've used 0. That's what this little, key points, sorcery points, lay on hands points, something like that. It can account for that, and it's nice to keep track of them. 13. We get 6 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Very good. Now we have that recorded. Let's move on. We're going to get 13 spells known, and I'll show you how we can weave those in. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, and 1. Right? 13th level, bum, bum, bum. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, and we don't have any ones over there. So we can leave them blank. That way we see what we have. And we're not worried about blank spaces because we don't have those. No, I'm just throwing things out there. That's perfectly fine. Our commander, this is communal storytelling. Yeah, he's not my character. He is our character. And Dorgrim, same to you. I think insight to read a crowd, those are very valid suggestions. You know, and as an entertainer, or if we do want to go gladiator, I don't know if that's making Ivalon kind of cringe, like, oh, why did I say dwarven luchador? We can still take him as a gladiator. He's still an entertainer, right? He's not going to get combat prowess, but he can certainly, with that winning smile, he can ham it up in front of a crowd. We are going to get some equipment. A light crossbow and 20 bolts, or a simple weapon. And a component pouch or an arcane focus. If he is more of a costumed character, or if he wants to cast spells, he probably doesn't have component pouches to pull out little like puffs of feathers or whatever. In my concept, if you want to say he has something other than an arcane focus, and why he'd have a component pouch, throw it out there. Let's think creatively. Many of these, if I'm putting a suggestion or an idea out there, it's to make a prompt. Do you have another alternative? Can you either enhance my idea or reject it and replace it with one of your own? It's conversation. Dungeoneer's pack or an explorer's pack? In the grand scheme of things, is this terribly relevant? Not necessarily. Let's say that he's ready for adventure and he's going outside the norm. He's going to have a Dungeoneer's pack. All right, he wants to be like his dwarven forebears and go underground and see what's there. And he's also then going to get 2 daggers. Dagger X2, and then we can give him a light crossbow or a simple weapon. That could be a short bow or a sling, although he's not proficient with that. He is proficient with a light crossbow, quarterstaff. We could give him a quarterstaff. We could give him a sling, darts, or this is something to think about. Do we want to make him very dexterous and have him attack off of his dexterity? Or do we want to have him, be kind of swole and he can attack off of his strength? Because if he can use hand axes, battle axes, throwing hammers, and war hammers, those are strength-based weapons. And so now by choosing weapons, we're going to reflect on where we are going to have to put our stats. You found an almost perfect statted horse. Oh, in Breath of the Wild. Which, yeah, if any of you are wondering what Dark Wolf is saying, she plays Breath of the Wild over the course of the stream. So are you then seeing this? Remember, we're closing our eyes, we're getting a mental picture. Do we have a more dexterous character, or do we have a strong character? I almost want to say, like, my initial impression would be going for dexterity on him. I could see him as being strong, though I think it'd be very interesting if we made him a Dex Con Charisma character. Let's play around with that. Throw another idea out there if you'd like. I'm gonna fill in if he's a backliner, right? He's a sorcerer. Maybe we give him a lot of backline spells also. We can give him things like mage armor or shield if necessary. I don't know. Can you get? Would that fit his idiom to be a backliner? He knows a story, loves a good insult, creativity. The world is in need of new ideas and bold action. I want to be famous, whatever it takes. I don't know. Maybe he's more of a melee, or he doesn't mind being up in the mix. Maybe we can go for our commander. That's a good idea. You think going a Dex Dwarf? A Dex Dwarf would be good, Arc? And Bobicus says, yeah, remember last week when I was like, my party's making a bunch of bad decisions. I'll let you know how it turns out. It turned out. Uh-oh. Well, I remember you saying that someone died in your last game. Yeah, I know, Dorgrim. Uh-oh. What's happening? There's an awoo. That's as a DM you killed a player. Oh, this is as a player. This is in the game that you had to kill your own PC to appease that temple. Daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaff. Maybe, even if he's not the best with it, maybe he does carry something like a big battle axe. Okay, gotcha, Bobicus. Would you care to elucidate your experience? We'll give him a battle axe. Either way, I think it's symbolic. It looks tough, and he's willing to saber rattle with his battle axe if he has to. The entire party, except for my character who stayed behind with the guide to play cards, embarked on a suicide mission to rescue another that had been captured by the Red Wizards of Thay. Oh. Are those the ones who practice circle magic? You know, like a couple of them get together and their spells get really powerful? Alright, here's our cantrips. I don't know if Battle Axe is simple, but, you know, whatever. We can give him like a hand axe instead. You get the idea, though. He wants to look menacing. We'll stay in the rules, even if we're willing to make an exception here or there. It's good to bend things, maybe not break entirely. Spellcasting focus, got it. We do not get ritual casting unless we take it as a feat. Sorceress Origin, we already have that. We're going to get Font of Magic. So that allows us to manipulate what we can do with magic. And we also get Meta Magic. We're going to get two, so we're going to get 3 total because we're past level 10. 1, 2, 3. And we'll choose which meta magic feats here in just a little bit. That is correct about ritual casting for sorcerers. It is not a class trait. Yes. Yep, it's not on the list. So do not be fooled or baffled that you can automatically cast spells as rituals as a sorcerer. You would have to take that as a feat in order to do so. Draconic Bloodline. Here we go. At first level, you choose one type of dragon as your ancestor. The damage type associated with each dragon is used by the features you gain later. Oh, that's right. We can roll for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's roll a d10 and find out. Bring that over to a 1. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bronze dragon. You can speak, read, and write Draconic. Additionally, whenever you make a charisma check... Oh, yeah, by the way, Dwarven. Draconic. You can make a charisma check when interacting with dragons. Your proficiency is doubled. Okay. Draconic Resilience, as magic flows through you, causes physical traits. First level, your hit point maximum increases by 1. Additionally, parts of your skin are covered by a thin sheen of dragon-like scales. When you aren't wearing armor, your AC equals 13 plus your dex mod. We'll make a little note of that up here, 13 plus, and then we'll add that in later. Elemental Affinity, we are going to get that. Starting 6th level, when you cast a spell that deals damage to the type associated with your Draconic ancestry, add your Charisma modifier to that damage. At the same time, you can spend 1 sorcery point to gain resistance of that damage type for an hour. That's pretty cool. So, Elemental Affinity, we're Bronze, Lightning. Which is interesting. Look, we have a Bronze Dragon heritage. Look at our Dragonborn that we rolled up. Blue. Both are lightning based. Both love the water. Chaos! I love it. I love how these stories will tell themselves. You just got to open yourself up to them. And at 14th level, oh, we're just shy of getting dragon wings. You gain the ability to sprout a pair of dragon wings from your back, gaining a flying speed equal to your current speed. You can create these wings as a bonus action on your turn. They last until you dismiss them as a bonus action on your turn. You can't manifest your wings while wearing armor unless the armor is made to accommodate them. Oh, so he keeps asking people to scratch his back. Like, he has these, like, 2 kind of weird, like, little knots under his skin. He's like, oh, they're just so itchy. He goes up against dwarf frames, and he's, like, scratching his back, and one day... Let's see. Bobicus says the entire party except my character who stayed behind. Okay, embarked on a suicide mission. Evelyn says, hi Bobicus, heart. Sup, duder. Red wizards must specialize in a magic style, evocation summoning those. Dorgrim says that is correct about ritual casting for Sorks, not a class trait. Yep, then Ivlon confirms. Bobicus continues the story saying they persuaded Artis Cimber to come with them, and he brought along his Ring of Winter. 2 days prior, Artis had temporarily slain a red wizard lich by tricking it into putting on the ring. She was instantly frozen solid by the ring's power. In Thay, after porting in using a teleportation circle, they explore the military prison, and things are going okay until that same lich shows up again to go deal with the characters after they set off a number of alarms. The session ended with the party fleeing in terror from the lich, level 5 characters, while Artis has been successfully commanded to approach, and she's not about to fall for the same trick twice. It sounds like you're like the way you're building it up, right? And she's not about to fall for the same trick twice. This summer, Bobicus brings you Suicide Mission. Alright, which metamagic spells are we going to give our Hill Dwarf? Something powerful, something... He knows a story relevant to almost every situation. He loves a good insult. The world's in need of new ideas and bold action. Bold action. He wants to be famous, whatever it takes. And he has trouble keeping his true feelings hidden. My sharp tongue lands me in trouble. Maybe twinned spell, right? Why do things once when you can do them twice? That seems rather bold. Subtle Spell could be interesting too. When you cast a spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to cast it without any somatic or verbal components. So that would mean that, you know, he is the one, by his mere presence, the magic goes off. It could be theatrical. That could be very theatrical, right? Casting him 1 action, you can spend 2 to make it into a bonus. Heightened, when you cast a spell that forces a creature to make a saving throw. An extended spell might be good too, because any buffs that he puts on himself would last longer. I don't know if maybe empowered. That's a damage dice though. I don't know if he seems to be more of a lover than a fighter. I don't know if he'd take like empowered spell or maybe distance spell. Well, you got to go. Hope you guys have a great time. Arc Commander, thank you for being a part of the conversation, for leaving a fingerprint on this character. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the time that you have taken out of your evening to spend with us. I hope to see you back here, and we'll continue doing what we're doing. Please participate as much as you want to do. Thank you, Arc. Bobicus, basically, Thay has the Ring of Winter now. Artist Simber is probably dead. The other players have no way back to Chult, and they'll be lucky to escape from the prison with their lives. I have to make a new character just in case enough of them escape that it makes sense to shift the campaign over into Escape from Thay rather than Tomb of Annihilation. Oh my gosh. This summer, Escape from Thay. You thought Chult was bad. You ain't never seen a city like this. This summer, Escape from Thay. Delcorn, did I hear buffet? No, it was a mistake. Did someone say steak? No, you did not. I heard steak. Delcorn heard steak. And Solomon Grundy want pants too. Okay, we have filled in a lot of stuff. There's a little bit more to go, though. Before we get to that part, we have to fill in our abilities. I think it would be very interesting if we made almost like a hit point tank sorcerer. Obviously, we should make our highest in our standard array in charisma. He is charismatic for sure. But he also has a lot of skills there, and I think that is going to suit him well. I mean, look, last week we made a bard with 10 charisma, but that was perfectly fine because she was meant to be a beater. I'm also going to say if we go 15, 14, 13, or I'm sorry, we were going to do this. The hand axe was to kind of like saber rattle and whatnot. 15, 14, 13, 12. He has standard strength. 10 and 8. Do any of you want to submit a different set of array or scores for him? You're welcome to. We did not roll that he's going to take feats. He's going to get pure stat bumps from here. Solomon Grundy. Because if we do it this way, his constitution's going to 15. His wisdom's going to 13. And he's going to get 3 ASIs. That means we could even, if the first one, let's make him beefy, right? Let's go 16 and 16. Then on the next one, we can put, that was 1 and 1. The next one, we can just go 2. And then if we want, we can bump up. We can either have Constitution keep up, or we can put them to 20 Charisma. We can round up Wisdom to 14. Let's say we bring that to 14, and then maybe we bump Charisma to 19, or we bump Constitution to 17, or we bump Dexterity to 15. A lot of these are fine. However you'd want to do it. But if we do that, we have 1 to spare. I'm just going to put it in... Sure, let's just put it in Charisma. It's not going to give him a stat bump, but it's holding on to it. And if we want to juggle where the extra point goes, we can do that. If we give him an 11 strength, this score itself will affect things like his carrying capacity. So we can get mechanical benefits from increasing a score without having to worry about just the mod. Something else to think about. All right, so there's our 3 ASIs, unless I hear different otherwise. That's going to give him a 0 modifier, 2, 3, minus 1, 2, and 4. Now that we have these numbers, we can fill in so much more of our character sheet, right? It's this effect, you know, one thing begets the next, it is a fission reaction. Saving throws, 0 and 0. 2, 2, and 2, where we're not trained, but in acrobatics, where we are, that's going to be a 7. Constitution, that is going to be an 8. Intelligence, we're just going to copy-paste -1. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 7. There we go. Da-da-da-da-da. 9. Also 9. And one more 9 for 999. 4 deception, 4 persuasion. Not too shabby. We can also then fill in our passive perception as 12, because that's 10 plus our perception modifier. This is how naturally aware we are of our surroundings. Armor class was 13 plus Dex, so we have a natural AC of 15, and this is going to affect our initiative plus 2. Hit points is going to be very interesting. This is why we get, at first level, maximum hit dice for Sorcerer. So we get 6. All our other levels, as I recommend doing, you don't have to. Talk to your DM, or if you are the DM, you can have your players roll it. I do half plus 1, which means that we're going to get 12 levels, right? Because the level 1 or level 13, however you want to look at it, is the full 6. So all the other levels, we're going to get half plus 1. Plus our con modifier for every level. So that's going to actually be 13 times 3. We're not done yet. Plus, for being a hill dwarf, we get 1 extra hit point, plus 13. For being a draconic sorcerer, we get an extra hit point, plus 13. So here we go. We have 26. We have 39. 28 and 28 is 46. So here we have 52. We have 78. So that's going to be 7 plus 8, 7, carry the 1, 4. There we go. 117 hit points on a sorcerer. 117 hit points on a sorcerer. he can face tank anything like a pro. We can also fill in, by the way, our spell save DC is always 8 plus proficiency plus the appropriate modifier. So here it's 8 plus 9 is going to be 17. And the attack, well, you just take care of that 8 because it's just the proficiency plus the modifier. There we go. Hand axes, let's see. That is strength based, so we're attacking with a +5. But he wants to, he wants to be, he wants to be able to saber rattle, go, oh, I'll hit you with my axe, kind of a thing. Daggers, however, we can be a little bit more sly with, and he can use dexterity because they are finesse weapons. And so actually, we can do a little snick-a-snack with a dagger, and he'll be swinging a little bit harder. 1d4 plus 2. That is piercing damage. Hand axes, I think, are d6s. Let's take a look real quick. Hand axe, 1d6 slashing. 1d6 plus 2, oh, plus 0. Slashing. There we go. Oh, Dark Wolf is on the first Divine Beast. Go get him. Sick him, Dark Wolf, sick him. You're hearing the awoos. Your people are calling to you. Imagine a min-max level 20. Oh, I know, Bubonic. You would be really gross and have hit points for days. So, shy of filling in a couple details, which, by the way, for our he character here, he's going to need a name. He's earned it. Look, we have filled in so much about this character now, right? Over the process, the conversation, we do need to consider which instrument, in which instrument is he proficient. He has some kind of a token of admiration from a fan. What could that be? That could be a trinket. And a costume. What is his favorite costume? There are a couple more things here. These are the bonuses that we're going to be adding, right? A trinket, a madness, and the trigger for the madness. Let's go over to Curse of Strahd. Here are Gothic trinkets, and we're going to roll a percentile dice to figure out what he's getting. 75. Here we go. A small mirror that shows a much older version of the viewer. Ooh. Now, we can have that be his arcane focus. Maybe that is the token of affection he received from a fan. Maybe it's a little somber, but maybe it reminds him to live life now, to take bold action. To be in the moment, because at some point in time, you're going to be an old gray dwarf. The old gray dwarf just ain't what he used to be. Ain't what he used to be. Ain't what he used to be. The old gray dwarf just ain't what he used to be. That's what his mirror does show. Bobby goes, and then a woo to you too. And his madness, we can find... Whoop, we were doing some map stuff. Madness is a little bit ahead. Let's get through these stupid magic items. Who needs those anyway? Magic items are dumb. Only bad players use magic items. That may be controversial. And of course I'm saying it sarcastically. Poisons. Madness. Madness. We're using long-term madnesses. Though maybe in a more short-term setting. And we're going to give them a particular trigger that is custom to the character. Let's roll a percentile here. 92. The character loses the ability to speak. Interesting. We've rolled some really good and appropriate madnesses for our characters. Again, let the randomness flow through. Trust in the dice. And also trust in yourself to be able to make those connections. So what could happen? What would happen in the midst of a high pressure or a stressful situation that would make such an outspoken person lose the ability to speak? Maybe it's... here's some others, right? Fails a whiz or chaw check by 5 or more. Receives the blinded condition. The character takes half or more HP damage from a melee source in combat. Well, that should probably be from melee sources, because that means he's getting beaten on. An entertainer who gets stage fright? Le gasp. Yeah, isn't that something? What would make him just turn mute for a while? We can look at his skills. We can look at his attacks. We can think of battlefield conditions under which he might be subjected. He knows his story, relevant to almost every situation. He loves a good insult, even when directed at him. The world is in need of new ideas and bold action. I want to be famous, whatever it takes. I have trouble keeping my true feelings hidden. My sharp tongue lands me in trouble. He's a sorcerer. He uses sorcery points. What is something that has kind of a shared responsibility between DM and PC? And he just sort of fall into this state. Loses the ability to speak. He wants to be famous. Maybe it has something to do with being outdone, right? It kind of cows him, right? He grows very, like, meek. He doesn't speak up. He's fine with being up in the mix. So I think something kind of like what Sapsepmet has is, I don't know if that'd be appropriate, because I don't think he'd mind being in combat, because he wants to prove himself and be bold. Maybe failing a performance check by a large amount. That could possibly be. Though think over the course of a campaign. Now, Dark Wolf, like, we would know as DMs, like, okay, so if he has that, we'll want him to perform often. Though, if that's the case, are we just baiting him for failure? By the way, the goggles were hot. Actually, it looks like they might have left little lens somethings, or I don't know if that's on my forehead, but anyway, whew, it was warm. Like, you might be onto something, Dark Wolf. We could have it... Ooh, what about this? Right, let's go to the player's handbook. Where's our status conditions? See conditions, okay. Concentrate conditions 290 and 292. We're not too far away. Okay. Stunned, unconscious, restrained, prone, poisoned, petrified, paralyzed, invisible, incapacitated, grappled, frightened. Maybe frightened. Because there's a difference between being afraid as a character. You know, you're like, you're Scooby and, you know, you go ruh-roh, or, you know, you're any of the members of the gang are like, oh, we got to get out of here. There's being afraid. There's the frightened condition, the specific effects of being frightened. Has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of his fear is within sight. The creature can't willingly move closer to the source. You know, so we want to talk about stage fright. Civil, yes. Has his color, yes. It has been decided bronze, which, and in all honesty, Civil, look how beautifully poetic that is, right? We have a bronze ancestor, and we have a blue ancestor together in the same party. Now, if we look at something like this, we have demons. I got to go a little bit ahead here. This is going to flash some, so if you're sensitive to that, please look away. I'll let you know when I finish. Displacers. Here we go. Okay, so dragons have, I've finished scrolling, have a frightful presence, and must succeed at 120 feet, a wisdom saving throw. Now, he's not proficient, but he has a +2. That's not necessarily difficult. And look, it's only a DC 16 for an ancient white dragon at that. So that's not necessarily terrible. If we look at also something like a good ghost, then... Oh. Hags. Hags have their own thing going on, that's for sure. Half dragons, by the way. If you want to see half dragons, horns and scales, kind of like tieflings, right? I want to go back just a little bit. Flesh Golem. Goblins. Because I do believe ghosts get a fear effect also. And this is a good way to help balance. Giants, a little bit more. This is a good way to help balance what you have happening here. Turning Defiant, Stench. Not that. Ghosts. Wisdom saving throw or become frightened. Alright, so it looks like a failed wisdom saving throw is what we'd be looking for here. We could make his trigger then, if he becomes frightened, like stage fright, he is unable to speak for a while. Because he's just like, I failed. I can't do this. I can't think boldly about actions or the world. Right? I've been humbled. I need to recollect my thoughts. I'm in doubt of myself. There we go. I think that's an elegant solution. It's a mechanic that can come up in a lot of different ways. It can be saved against in various ways. And so it's something that it's not like I, as the DM, am going to be picking on your character in a particular fashion. It's something that can come up from natural or supernatural phenomena. Delcorin says owie because he got a 3 and a treant. In this case, instead of hugging trees, the trees hug you. And unfortunately, Delcorin kind of, turns into like a grape in between two fingers, like, and becomes fertilizer for the treant pair. It was a good try, though, Del. Oh, woo. We have 17. Whoops. Wrong spot. 17 plus 9. Sorc points. We have 13, and we've used 0. We're using Cha. And Sorcerer. We do have 1 cantrip. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, we're not going to pick out the spells right now. If you thought of any, that's fine. You can say, yeah, I think he'd really take this. I at least want to go through and show the slots and how we can choose it later on. All right, let's come back up to sorcerers. And you can see here, once I get to it, see how we know 2 spells at first level? I would urge you, if you don't already do it, to indicate at which level you get your spells. So here's our 2 spells known at first, and now we know 3 spells, but it can only be first level, indicating level 3. Bing, bing, bing. There we go. Yet when we go to 4th level, we know 5 spells. Or I'm sorry, 3rd level, we know a 4th spell. And that spell can be 2nd level if we choose. Can we put level 4 here and level 5 here and level 10 here? Of course we can. You can always drop back. And when you're playing a sorcerer, in between levels, you can swap some things around too. Though if we're sticking to what we have going on here, this is going to be level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, level 9, level 10, level 11, level 12, whoop. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. We start repeating. We start. We don't get one every level as a sorcerer. One moment. Like there are some that you do. I'm sorry. So we know 10 at 9. We know 11 at 10. We know 12 at 11. But we still know 12 at 12. So we get our 13th at level 13. And we are only level 13 right now. So there we go. Then it starts going every odd level. 9, so we do get 1 at 10, right? Because we go from 10 to 11, 11 to 12. But 12, we do not learn a new spell, and we get 1 at 13. But you can still see how it's staggered, right? If you want to max it out. Now, if you do it this way on a form-fillable sheet, and you say, there's nothing in level 6 I want, Control X and Control V it in one of these other locations that you want. And you will be perfectly fine. 2, 1, and 1 at 7th level. Did I miss something? Did something skip ahead then? Because we should be able to take one there. When do we get 7th level? We get 7th level at 13. So our 13 can be here. Sorry, I hope I'm not trying to confuse you here. At 12th level, we do not get a new spell. But at 11th, we do get a 6th. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. That explains it. Shame on me. And then you can play around with this as you wish. But here's the level spread. And then if we go over to chapter 11 here, we scroll down to Sorceress Spells. If you know what most of the spells do or what you're hunting for, here they are alphabetically. Otherwise, after this introduction part, all the spells descriptors are listed afterwards. And we can take ones that would be, what kind of he is a character. He has his own motivations. The spells are intrinsic to a sorcerer. It's like you have mutant powers as opposed to a wizard. Anyone can be a wizard. You pick up a book, you study, you learn the proper incantations. It's accessible, it's very adaptable. Not everyone can be a sorcerer because it's a part of who you are on the inside. It's your blood, it's your heritage, or it's a random mutation of nature that allows you to just reflect and wield magic. So as you're creating a spell list as your own personal character in a D&D world, or in this case as a storytelling exercise, as a challenge, think of the life that he's lived. He's going to learn spells that will help him adapt to whatever he's been through. If most of his life he's avoided combat and conflict, maybe he has a lot of buff spells. Especially, look, because he can twin spells, he can subtle spell, and he can extend the duration of spells. This is also going to be an influence on what spells he should take in order to maximize his metamagic abilities. Yes, yeah, you can replace lower. I believe I have that out there, right? 4 at so hang on. So I have my 6 cantrips. Level 4 is 4. Wait, level 4 is 4. Level 5 is 4? Hang on. Unless I'm misreading what you're saying, Hermit. Because we come back up to the sorcerer here. I don't know how we're going to be getting 4 level 4 spells, because we get that at we can have access. I'm sorry if I misdid something here. Right? Yeah. So we get our 2 at first. There's our level. Oh, maybe because I put level 3 instead of level 2, and I got one set ahead. This is why you label if that happens. So then level 2, level 3 we can take a second. At level 4 we're still stuck at second level. At level 5 we can take another one, that can be third. At level 6 we can take another spell that can be level 3. 6. At level 7, we can take one in 4th. So then we go 7 and 8, because we look at 8th level. Yep. There we go. At 9th level, we'll learn another one, and that can be 5th level. At level 10, it will be the same, right? 9th. Spells known are 10. At 10th level, we know 11 spells. So we have LV10. At 11th, we learn another one, and that one can be 6th level. Okay, so there's 11. At level 12, we do not gain a new spell, because we still only know 12. We go from 12 to 12. Though we do gain one as we go from 12 to 13 at 13th level, and that one can be 7th. At 7, gain 1 level 4, then increase a lower one with... Oh, I see what you're saying, Seville. You're saying if we pushed the absolute maximum. Okay, I get it now. I thought that somehow... I mean, I did have a little floating error of numbers that, we bled that bubble out of the pipe. But I see what you're saying. If every level we took the option of spell replacement, yes, you are yes. There you go. Sorry about that. If I wasn't being clear either in presentation and or if I was misreading what you were typing out, Civil. Thank you very much for that correction, by the way. So there we go. Now it's just a matter of what would we give him in order to reflect his personality, his career as an entertainer, not just always as an adventurer. Again, adventurers just aren't, born with a sword and shield and go out and poke goblins until they stop moving. He did things. He's a star. He wants to leave an impact on the world somehow. And along the way, he took these metamagic feats and what spells would really help him out with twin spell, subtle magic, and extended. And if you have ideas for that, throw them out there. I'll throw them on the spell sheet. It's no problem at all. And as Civil was saying, we don't even have to stick to this if we don't want to as our particular guide. You just worked out a level by level chart earlier. Oh, gotcha. If you want to share that, you don't have to, Civil. But if you want to share it, you can throw that in the Discord for people to consider if they really want to push the boundaries of their sorcerer. This one is a very like vanilla and safe sorcerer, but you do have those options as it was pointed out by Civil Hermit. Okay, I need to get up and take a break. We look how beefy this sorcerer is. Also, if you can think of a name, and let me know if any of you are working on art for him. I will happily slot that down here in the character appearance. Otherwise, we can find something that would be fitting of his appearance or his demeanor, something along those lines. His background. But I'm going to take 5 to 10 minutes. I will be back, and we will then have a DM discussion on the concept of equity at the game table.